Hi, Crystal. How you doing? This is great. I love your presentation here. Very, very, very interesting stuff. And I think you did an excellent job compiling your research into this presentation. It is actually very easy to read and very informative as well. So great job. So, one of the reasons we do this assignment is because a lot of students in this class are going to be introduced to two things for the first time in this class. Number one is sustainability, and the other is the design thinking process, design thinking, as it were. And we'll be talking about both those extensively throughout the weeks. So I just wanted to introduce both of those right now. Now, as far as your presentation goes, I'm going to go through here and just give you some thoughts about some just things that you want to think of. Now, we're going to be doing our own project here, so you're going to start choosing materials for your final project. So I want you to learn exactly from what is presented and what might necessarily be behind the scenes, so to speak. Okay, so I'll just give you a lot of my thoughts as I go through the project, and I'm not asking you to repost or just. All I want you to do is just consider this moving forward. As far as your presentation goes, I think you really nailed it. Great job. So we've got the package in the package, and that's awesome. And then you've introduced the Dell Legacy of Good, 2020 Legacy of Good, which is really a phenomenal plan. It really is right up there. Well, it's wonderful. And I think was that introduced in 2010? I thought it was 2010. You say 2012, but at any rate, so this is awesome. They have their 21 goals in 10 years, and that's great. So we have the wheat straw infused box and the bamboo padding. Materials: bamboo, wheat straw, recycled paper, no added chemicals or glues. Now, recycled paper is something that has become kind of like this all-encompassing generic term. So we don't want to use that term anymore in class. We want to really define what recycled paper means. It has so many different types of meanings. So you could say, for instance, what percentage of post-consumer or give it a grade of recyclability, or somehow categorize it within the recycled paper category instead of lumping it in there. In that, like I said, that category that's become pretty much an all-encompassing term. No added chemicals or glues. Excuse me. So I'm wondering about, adhesives. Like, we'll see I think you get into that in a second. So raw materials, using bamboo to replace foam corrugate, and that's really interesting. And I think that in a lot of countries, this wouldn't work. And I think the reason is obvious. And if it isn't, the reason is because that's where the bamboo is harvested. You can't grow bamboo in Southern California. Do you see what I'm saying? And if you do, it leaves a bigger carbon. Well, you can. But in order to grow the amount of bamboo for production, you would need it would cost a pretty good sized carbon footprint to do so, as would trying to transport it from China. So since the manufacturing plant's in China, then it makes perfect sense to use bamboo. Great thinking there. Now, the incorporate use of wheat straw into the boxes normally, this is wonderful that they would normally burn this. Excuse me. So the one thing I'm wondering here is where that statistic came from, because that sounds like it's written by, and nothing that you did, but I'm just saying that, doesn't this sound like it was written by Dell? I wonder what really happens. And I say that because we'll be finding out, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that happen that aren't what it actually appears to be. So I'm just wondering about that. So anyway, okay, off to life cycle, raw materials. And then, of course, in your project, we really, really would want to get into this extensively. The raw materials, specifically how they were extracted, how they were either manufactured or remanufactured in terms of recycling, and how their life ends. In other words, if they make it to a landfill, how long will they be sitting there? And if they actually do get recycled, what is the carbon footprint involved with the recycling? Um, and this sounds right here. I wonder this right here. This sounds like a basic um, production. I wonder if this is production of harvesting bamboo in China, or if this is a general statement on the harvesting of bamboo. That's an interesting thing. Wheat straw. This is great. This is wonderful. These are the statistics that I'm looking for, and this stuff like this, you're really, really going to be asked to use stuff like this in your own presentation. And this is fascinating. The Delve 3Cs, which has to do with their packaging, cube content and curb. It's really, really interesting that they take it down to the size of packaging. So in other words, to make a long story short, how many boxes can we fit on a truck? Really smart stuff. Disposal. Boy, this is just wonderful. I just think this is such a great setup for carry. Hang on to this as a outline for moving into your final presentation. This is going to come in handy. Anyway, great job. Very good. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks.